Hello, my name is Kurt Wiebke. I am a beef farmer from Caledonia, Minnesota. I'm the third generation to live on this farm. My grandfather moved here in the 1940s, and he and my grandma raised 7 sons on this farm. My dad, Warren, worked with his 2 brothers, Warren and Delone. Together they had started Wiebke Livestock. They bought hogs and dealt in all sorts of livestock throughout the years. And they also started Wiebke Brothers Trucking, and they hauled a lot of livestock all over the U.S. More recently, my dad and I, my 2 uncles passed away, so my father and I, we have been raising beef cattle mostly. Previous to that, we did raise hogs and we cash crop, but more recently we've just been pretty much putting all of our feed through the cattle. So we're much less diversified than we used to be, but most farms are kind of going that way, the way it seems. So we feed about 80% heifers. We buy them in the sale barns. They weigh between 500 and 600 pounds. And we feed them to finish. We feed a high forage diet. So we basically background them up until around 900 pounds before we feed a higher corn ration. We feel it's important. We think we get a better grade, although we probably have more days on feed than some other feedlots. We get a little better grade when we sell them, and the premiums, I think, make up for the longer days on feed. We have older style feeding systems. We feed with silos yet and feeders. We're not using a TMR, but we're trying our best to make sure our ration is the way our nutritionist wants it to be. So we can go take a look at the yards if you'd like and see what that looks like. Here's one of our yards. We just expanded our cement a little bit. We had previously the cattle were all in a dirt yard, and we just expanded our concrete and put a new fence just to give it a little better, more solid in the springtime, more solid base for them to lay and feed, and then we'll have a little bit of manure storage up here when we scrape up. You see, most of the cattle we have are Angus, black Angus, although we do have some Reds and Charolais. The place we market to most often only takes the black Angus, where we sell direct to them, and then the balance of them we'll either sell as a freezer beef or we'll go to the local sale barns with them. So it's a lot different than it used to be when I started farming, well, full-time in 1999 with my dad. The genetics weren't nearly as good as they are now. The Angus breed has done not only a good job of marketing, but even getting their genetics out. These cattle, they perform better, the health is better. It's easier to do our job of feeding the cattle when these cattle have the better genetic profile, and it also helps that their vaccination protocols have gotten much better as well. It used to be guys would take their cows off the calves, they'd take them to the sale barn, and we'd try to baby them and get them to live, and it was a much more difficult task. Now almost everyone is at least doing 1 round of shots, and they're vaccinating their calves, which helps us out a lot. It provides a much healthier animal. A certain percentage of my cattle I'll buy directly from the farm. I have a few guys that I have been buying from every year, and that is the best way, as I see, to have the healthier animal. We essentially have 0 trouble with sickness. As long as they'll bring them in, we'll weigh them and put them in the yard. They won't even miss the feed. So Whereas in a sale barn, they could stand potentially 18 to 24 hours, depending on when they are brought in the day before and brought to the sale. So we like to do that as well, but it's a small percentage of the cattle that we actually get bought. I think, yeah, the also improvements in the beef is we've had better antibiotics that are better for treating if you do get a sick animal. So yeah, one thing that has changed recently is the antibiotics in our feed, they've really clamped down on. It's essentially not impossible, but not used nearly as widely. We never really used it much, but it was a good tool that we lost. But I guess it's for the better good. But yeah.
Perfect.
These guys got a little more spunk, but it's alright.
And these ones are all heifers?
Yes, there's a few steers in here. These are essentially all heifers.
Okay. And then they're just fed mostly hay.
We're feeding haylage, corn silage, and ground corn. Like to these, they're only getting about 7-8 pounds of corn. These lighter cattle, we won't step them up to a higher ration until they get to be a heavier weight.
Okay.
They're for your pigs. Dave and Kev.
Dave and Kev.
Yep. Don't get up.
They're looking for food, huh? They're big guys, though.
Yeah, somebody was 3-something by now.
And they got blue ribbons at the county fair.
Yeah, that one did. This one did not.
Okay.
I don't know why. I like him better. A little beefier. Don't bite me, rascal.